What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave and welcome back to FM Scout, the YouTube channel. Today we've got a very much in-depth experiment on Ryan Giggs as Manchester United manager. So yesterday it was FMU. He uploaded a experiment with Gary Neville in charge of Valencia, which is our first experiment for Football Manager 2016 on the channel. Today obviously I'm bringing you the second one, which is another ex-United player, coincidentally, but it's Ryan Giggs actually taking charge of United. Now it is going to be quite a long experiment, but it's very much in depth because we're going up to about 10 years ahead to see how Ryan Giggs does on the long term, not short term. So it is quite interesting one. If you can only have time to watch the first 5-10 minutes, please do come back and watch the rest later, because this intro I'm recording after actually recording the main video. So the main video is crazy, so many twists and turns and surprises. I do recommend you watch the whole thing rather than skipping parts of it. But again, please do drop a like down below. This video is kind of a lead on to my own series on my own channel, where I'm taking old legends of clubs and getting them to manage the team. So it could be an old player, an old manager that you've loved. Please do drop a comment down below and check out my series as well. Which player would you love, or ex-manager would you love back at your club to manage them, to see how well they can do? I'll do a video of it on my own channel. Please do let me know. But today obviously we're focusing on Giggsy. He's got pretty decent stats for an assistant manager rather than a manager, to be fair to him. He's got good adaptability and good motivation, good technical work, and 15 for attacking, which is pretty good. Probably not strong enough to be a manager, but we'll have to see how well he could do in charge. Anyway, but as I say, we're going to go up to 10 years in the future. Before we start off, please do drop us a like down below, subscribe to the channel as well. And guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. So, first season completed with Giggs in charge at Old Trafford, and as you can see over here, he's actually insecure in his job. So the Manchester United faithful clearly not too happy with how Giggs' first season went. He's still in charge, but let us see how he did. Now, he finished 4th in the Premier League, so Champions League nonetheless. How did he do in other competitions? Well, in the Premier League, 4th, 6 points rather ahead of Liverpool, but 5 points behind Arsenal and 11 points behind eventual winners Chelsea. They got knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by the eventual winners Arsenal, and lost in a Manchester derby in the 3rd round of the Capital One Cup, which was then won by league champions Chelsea. Who did he bring in? Well, Giggs brought in 3 players: Hakan Çalhanoğlu from Leverkusen for 22.5 million, Gabriel Barbosa from Santos for 15.5, and Che Nunali from Ajax for 2.5. The only main transfer out was Marouane Fellaini, who went to Juventus for 5.5 million. How did they get on in other competitions such as Champions League? Wow, they got to the Champions League final. Not bad at all. The Champions League final at the San Siro in front of 80,000. They got smashed 4-0 against Barca. Neymar grabbed 2, Messi grabbed 1, and Çalhanoğlu scored an own goal. But they had a difficult-ish group. Monaco, Galatasaray, oh no, not Monaco, sorry, Galatasaray, Celtic and Zenit. Pretty decent sides. Then he dropped points in the one game, didn't lose any of those, which isn't bad at all. Beat Bayern in the first knockout round on away goals, which isn't bad either. Depay and Martial scoring in the first leg. They lost 1-0 at Old Trafford, but the away goals was enough. Beat Valencia 4-1 on aggregate there. Barbosa, Mata and Blin scoring at Old Trafford. Negredo opening the scoring at the Mestalla, but Barbosa grabbing the equaliser on the day. And they also beat Juventus 5-2. They went to the Juventus and beat them 3-1. And then beat them 2-1 at Old Trafford. And it took them to the final. A very good run of results. But on their day, they got absolutely battered by Barcelona. So, in my eyes, very decent first season there. Lost on penalties to City. Lost 3-1 to Arsenal. How about in the Premier League? They were pretty good. They lost their first game, but they didn't lose again until the end of November, which isn't bad going at all. Started 2016 quite well. Didn't lose till middle of Feb. I think there was a couple of losses, but overall very consistent, quite strong season from Ryan Giggs, and I think he'll build on that as a manager. Best players in the squad. Well, the best average rating was Juan Mata, 7.79 rating. He played 50 games. Top goal scorer was Gabriel Barbosa, closely followed by Martial. Rooney had an injury, but he still played quite a lot of games. Only grabbed 12 goals, 15 assists from Mata. He also got the most man of the matches as well. Most appearances were David De Gea, closely followed by Schweinsteiger, Blind and Mata. But overall, it's a very decent first season for Ryan Giggs. He should build on that, finishing 4th in the Premier League. Hopefully he should build in there, possibly even challenge for the title this season. But the Champions League, the success there will be very hard to beat. But it'll be interesting to see if he can do so. So let's skip forward another season and see how they do. So, second season completed of his Ryan Giggs experiment. So, time to see how well Giggs is done in his second term in charge. And he's finishing 4th place, so he hasn't quite pushed on for a better position. But they've still got Champions League football, which is all that matters. 8 points off the eventual winners, Man City. But a comfortable 12 points away from Liverpool, who finished in 5th place. Now, United as a whole, obviously still with Giggsy in charge. Rooney still the captain. Who did they bring in this season to try and help push? Right, they brought in quite a few players for quite a lot of money. Andrei Yarmolenko came in from Kiev on a free. Dybala came in from Juventus for almost 60 million. Laporte, who's almost always signed by a biggish club on the game. Bilbao, for 35.5 million for him. David Santon from Inter for 10.5. Mark Flynn from Birmingham City. Is he a youth prospect? Yeah, 17. And Bernal, 17 years old as well. He looks really decent. His physical stats are awesome. From Villarreal. So, decent few signings. 9.96 million came in for players such as Blackett, Johnston Powell, Valencia left, Paddy McNair and Ashley Young as well. Quite a lot of players out on loan. Victor Valdez left to go to Fiorentina on a free as well. And a couple of new players coming in the summer. Stefan de Vrij and Jetro Willems, who play for Barca. Geez, for 24 million. So good little amount of money. Now, how did they do in general in other competitions? Wrong thing. Senior there. Obviously finished 4th. Pretty consistent. They were 4th for almost 3/4 of the season. They were up and down at the start and then kind of consolidated their position. Couldn't push further. So it looked like 4th position was always meant to be theirs. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, which was ended up winning by City. They lost in the 3rd round also of the Capital One Cup, which was won by Chelsea, but they lost to Arsenal in the 3rd round. And the Champions League, how did they do this season? If I could check stages, and 16, 17, right, is that the right one? No, clearly not. There we go, sorry. See if they got past the first knockout round. Yeah, they beat Dortmund pretty convincingly, 6-1. Why am I doing this anyway? I'll show you a much easier way that I could have done it. If I go back, go to the schedule. Why didn't I do that before? 16-17, of course that is the season. Quickly look at the Premier League. They're pretty consistent. No real bad runs. I mean, they had 4 games without a win there, but they played some difficult teams such as Spurs, Chelsea and Liverpool. FA Cup, they obviously lost to West Ham. Capital One Cup, they lost to Arsenal. Champions League, semi-final, lost in away goals to Barcelona, who obviously smashed them in the final the year before. But Andrei Yarmolenko grabbing a goal there. Obviously he came in on a free, but Busquets and Kondogbia scoring there. They actually had a man sent off pretty late on. But their group was Copenhagen, Zenit and Galatasaray, so not the hardest of groups, but you know, still pretty difficult. Got some really convincing wins. Only dropped the 2 points, which is in the first game. Smashed Inter in the first leg away from home of the best placed playoff. So pretty decent season there overall. Quickly have a quick look at the players because I am dragging it on a little bit. Laporte grabbed the most appearances this season. Top goal scorer is new signing Dybala with 28 goals. And best average rating was 7.76. Laporte, very decent indeed. Juan Mata with the most assists. Depay actually with the most player of the matches. So we'll skip forward now onto the next season. So third season under Giggs' control. How have United done this time around? And they've come second, so runners up just 2 points behind Arsenal. Their goal difference was the best in the league on this occasion, but unfortunately they drew one more game than Arsenal and lost won one less game. So that kind of is where they dropped the points. So United as a whole. Very decent season. Looked like they got into a couple of cup finals as well, it seems. So let's see how they did. So Champions League, we'll have to have a look at in a minute. FA Cup, they won. They beat, oh no, were they? Yeah, Man U won. I'm guessing that was against Arsenal by the looks of it. Very good victory there in the FA Cup to beat Arsenal on penalties, which is good indeed. Capital One Cup, they lost against Chelsea in the fourth round, who went on to win it. So pretty comfortable. It was always going to be Man U or Arsenal, it seems. They were first for stages of the season, but never really consolidated their place there. And Arsenal have come out, and seems like that draw there may have hindered their chances. But at least they've won one trophy, at least in the FA Cup. Quickly before we check the schedule, who did they bring in? Obviously, De Vrij we knew about for 35 million. Pasalic, sorry, came in from Chelsea for 17.25. Carl Jenkinson from Southampton for 8.5. Timothy Kolodziejczak, I hope I've said that right, as 26-year-old, looks pretty decent Frenchman from Sevilla for 19.5, and Ross Barkley for 35 million. But they actually brought in 51 million pounds worth of players. Now the big hitters were James Wilson for almost 20 million to Burnley. Now that is a big fee, jeez. But 17 finishing, looks a really half decent player. Ashley Young obviously went out for 1.3 million. Who are the others that went out? Santon left already, just for 10 million. Schneiderlin went as well. Timothy, did he leave? He's left already. Oh, well, that didn't last very long, did it? He's come and gone already. He's gone back. He's gone to Monaco. Pereira left, Young and Lingard as well. And also, who else? I think that's it. Schedule-wise now, see how they did. Premier League, a couple of losses at the beginning of the season didn't help. A lot of draws, but look at that. From December onwards, they didn't lose a game, and it was the draw to Arsenal that cost them. If they went and won that, they would have won the league. But they're getting very close to doing so. FA Cup, they obviously won. Be Reading, Wolves, Oldham, Bristol City, Swansea City, and Arsenal along the way. Capital One Cup, if we can get that up. Beat Liverpool on penalties in the the third round, sorry, and lost to Chelsea on penalties in the fourth. Champions League, they got to the quarterfinals this term, lost to Real Madrid, unfortunately 3-1 on aggregate. Berardi and Benzema scoring in that second leg, James Rodriguez and Depay scoring in the first leg. So a decent season there for Giggsy. Quick look at the players again. 57 caps for David De Gea this season. Laporte just behind. Goals, Rooney actually the top goal scorer. Quite surprised by that. He's still getting games. Quite a few years into the game. 18 goals for Gabriel Barbosa. Assists 15 for Yarmolenko, who seems like he could be a good player for them. 7.69 was the best average rating, and that was by new signing De Vrij. So we'll hop on now to the next season. 2019 now for Giggsy in charge at Old Trafford. Now, how is he going to do this season? Is he going to push for his first title in charge? As you can see, a couple of the bigger jobs are available or have just come. Got a new boss in Luis Enrique at Chelsea now. How have Man U done? And they've won the league. Only lost 2 games. It's a really strong season from Giggsy's side. 88 points, 5 ahead of Spurs, who actually finished second. So a very strong season. Giggs still in charge. Rooney the captain. Yarmolenko now vice captain. In other competitions, how did he do? FA Cup came runner-up in the Capital One Cup, won the Community Shield, which is good. That must have been against Arsenal, but good season in the league. They were predicted to finish third, but finished top. We were up and around there for the majority of the season. Arsenal actually finished 5th in the end, but they won the FA Cup, which was half decent for them. Fortunately, United lost in 2 finals, which is a bit of a pain. Transfers this season, Barkley obviously came in. This is confusing. They've keep bringing in some random transfers. Congolo from PSG. I thought they'd already signed Barkley, to be honest. I'll have to have a quick look at that. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. Barkley came in. Congolo from PSG. Christian Mania from Chelsea. Mitchell Hendricks from Ajax. And Jesse Rodriguez, I'm guessing that is from Real Madrid. Now, fees who left, obviously we knew about Kolodziejczak. Jenkinson actually left in the end, and Bastian Schweinsteiger going to QPR for 300k. In the Champions League, they were out in the first knockout round, so not very good this season for United. They lost to Barcelona on the away goal rule. Çalhanoğlu and Dybala scoring in the first leg, along with Luis Suarez. and Lionel Messi, that man, scored in the second leg. Their group was PSG, PSV, and Galatasaray. So PSG a bit of a tough team. They beat them 3-0 in the end in that first game. So it looks like they got a few decent players, but United did enough to come out, I'm guessing, top of the group with the 5 wins there. Best players this season for United. Best average rating with Dybala and Yarmolenko both on 7.62, closely followed by Laporte on 7.61. Most amount of the matches was Dybala. Most assists was Juan Mata. Dybala got top goal scorer as well, just closely followed by, well, not closely, 12 goals ahead of Gabriel Barbosa. And most appearances. Let me get my words out. David De Gea with 57 this season. Now, after that first league title, can Giggs go and retain the Premier League? Let's go and find out. So another season with Giggsy in charge. How will Manchester United do this time around? So we'll search them up, and I'm guessing they've won it again. First in the Premier League, and yes, they've won it again, only with 80 this season, 1 point ahead of Chelsea, but a pretty strong goal difference of plus 40. They lost 8 games this season, which is quite a difference to last. Dybala ended up getting the golden boot and the best average rating for this season for Manchester United. Now Dybala is the new vice captain, so I'm guessing Rooney's gone as Yarmolenko's been promoted to the captaincy. Let's quickly have a look at the competitions first, and then we'll find out. So Manchester United won the FA Cup this season, which is good. Won the Community Shield as well. The Capital One Cup, they were knocked out in the 4th round by West Brom. Spurs ended up winning that. Transfer-wise, they brought in 62.1 million worth of players. No one really for a hefty fee. I mean, Callum Chambers came at 14.5. Leon Goretzka from Schalke for 26.5 million. They also brought in a couple of others. Jan Schaap, Audrey Lems, Wesley Borghuis, Yossi Perez from Spurs, Martin Montoya from Chelsea, and this Damon, I think that's how you pronounce that. They brought in 46.8 million this season. Matteo Darmian left the club to go to PSG. Christian Menea to Spurs. Congolo went to Leverkusen, and Milinkovic-Savic went to Burnley. Rashford to Derby. Rooney left on a free transfer. Where's he now? He's in the Newcastle reserves. Didn't really play for them. Came on as a sub twice. Wow. Okay. Not the best move for Rooney there. I mean, schedule. How did they do in the Champions League? Did they go and win that this season? Well, no. They got knocked into the Europa League and lost. Did they? Did they win or lose that one? I think they lost on penalties. I'll have a quick look. Well, they didn't win it. Wow. Look at that. 3 of the teams. Manchester United lost on penalties to City in the quarter-final. And 3 of the teams in the semis were all English. And Spurs won the battle of the North London derby there in the Europa League final. But decent that for Manchester United. I mean, second knockout. No, didn't get out of the group actually. Not decent. What was I on about? Didn't get out of the group. I mean, they had 2 difficult-ish teams in Atletico Madrid and Porto, but you'd expect them to still come first or second as well with Legia Warsaw in there. Clearly they couldn't do that, and Europa League seemed like it was a bit of a task as well, but I mean City are a half decent side anyway. Fortunately they couldn't beat City on penalties. Best players this season were Dvorich with the most appearances. Dybala, top goal scorer again. He seems like he's banging them in. Goretzka with the most assists in his debut season. Player of the matches, most for Dybala, and top average rating Dybala, closely followed by Memphis Depay. Can next season Giggs win 3 in a row? Surely not. Let's go and find out. Well, a couple of insecure jobs here. Chelsea and City up for debate, but will Manchester United go and win it? I'm not going to ruin it this time. I'm going to go and search for the Barclays Premier League. Oh, holders Manchester United. Wow, what a season. 96 points. Hardly drew any games. Just a 3 this season. Lost 4, so they slashed half of the 8 that they lost last season, but good 31 wins. Massive goal difference of plus 54. Dybala and Perez coming first and second in the top goal scoring rankings. Mata winning the most assists. Very, very impressive that for Manchester United. Still the same captain and vice captain for Giggsy. How's he done in the competition now? Didn't win anything else. They lost the Community Shield to Chelsea. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the Capital One Cup. Sunderland beat them there. And Liverpool actually went and knocked them out in the 6th round, and Chelsea won that as well. So Chelsea won a couple of trophies this season but finished third. Manchester United finishing 12 points ahead of anyone else in the race for the title. Look at how long they were top of the league for. Very, very impressive indeed. Transfers this season. Callum Chambers came in again. There must be some sort of glitch with this. I don't know what's going on. Because they brought him in like 2 years ago, didn't they? Panagiotis Manthasis came in from Barca. Renato Sanchez. A lot of these are going to be new gen, regen players now. Davor Ragipovic from Basel. Jeff Rennie Adelaide from Arsenal. And Nicholas Gunnarsson from Göteborg. Sorry about the pronunciation. That was £85 million worth of players. Martial left to Everton. Adnan Januzaj to Fulham. Phil Jones to Newcastle. Ander Herrera to Stoke. So a lot of the regulars leaving there. Got quite a few coming in. It seems like Çalhanoğlu's leaving, Jesse Rodriguez, Audrey Lems, Kevin Quinn's coming in, and Andres Cubas. How did Champions League go for them this season though? First knockout round again. They can't seem to get past the first knockout round or out the group. They had a pretty difficult group. Look at that, Barca and AC Milan with Red Bull Salzburg. So they must have come over the task of someone. I wonder who was who lost out there then. Real Madrid ended up winning the whole competition. Who got out of that group? Be interested to know, what was it, F or G? F. Man United came second. Barca only lost the one, and that was to United. Very close indeed. AC Milan ended up there. Oh, Salzburg had a bit of a shocker. They ended up not grabbing any points. Obviously in the Community Shield they lost out. Barclays Premier League, pretty consistent run. Look at that. Didn't get their first loss till the end of November. A really, really strong season there indeed. So we're now going to check out another season. Giggs only got and won it 3 times in a row. And he's becoming a bit of a folk hero, as he already was. Surely he can't go and beat Fergie's record, can he? Well, we're going to find out until he doesn't. Let's go on to the next season. Now the Arsenal job available. Roberto Mancini insecure at City. How have Manchester United done? Have they capitalised? Oh, now they finished second. So Giggs has dropped his title. Could have got 4 in a row, but it was only 3. Chelsea, who did pretty well domestically last season, have gone and snatched it off United, finishing 2 points ahead of them. Seems like United had a slightly better season as a whole. Possibly they had 47 goal difference, and they lost 2 less games than Chelsea. But unfortunately, they drew a bit more, and that's kind of cost them. 86 points overall, still a very, very strong amount. Those two running the race for it in the end, but Raheem Sterling looked like he was a good player for Chelsea this season. Still, let's see how they did in other competitions. Won the Community Shield this time around, which is good. Won the Capital One Cup again, which is decent indeed. And in the FA Cup, knocked out in the 5th round by Spurs. Ended up getting won by Stoke, which isn't bad at all, is it? Transfer-wise, who did they bring in this season? Kevin Quinn from Dundee, Andres Cubas from Porto for almost 50 million. How good's he then? Oh, seems very decent player. Now, not heard of him before. Defensive midfielder, maybe a little wonder kid if anyone knows about him. Is he any good? Let me know in the comments down below. Shinya Kurosawa from AS Roma for 23 million. Pieter Viemboa from Ajax. Kuki from Barcelona. Nikolai Larsson and Zay Serrao as well coming in. Obviously we know about a few of these outs. Hakan Çalhanoğlu went out as well. Jesse left. Callum Chambers also left as well. How did they do in the Champions League this time though? Oh, they got to the final but got smashed against PSG. 3-0. That was at the Stade de France, so PSG familiar to it. Bernardo Silva grabbing 2 and Kennedy grabbing the other one. Very unfortunate for United, but they were 2-0 down within half an hour. Very hard to get back from there. Unbeaten in the group, which is good. And they only lost 1 more along the way towards the final. That was to Bayer Leverkusen at home. But they won on the away goal rule, which is good. Beat Real Madrid in the semi-final. I mean, if anyone could go and beat Real Madrid at that sort of stage of a competition, they do deserve to be in the final. Ronaldo sent off at Old Trafford after almost half an hour. That is incredible. Player-wise, who performed well this season? Dybala again. Absolutely incredible performances from him. Luke Shaw most appearances this season. Top goal scorer, I'm guessing, is Dybala. It certainly is. Kuki not far behind this season. Shaw with the most assists. And Dybala with the most man of the matches. Now, not long left. Only a couple more years until we've reached 10 years with Giggsy in charge of United. He's done a very decent job. But let's find out how he will finish next year. Now we're into 2023. It's almost 8 years with Giggs in charge now. It's time to see if Manchester United have won it. Yes, they have. Holders Manchester United, another league title for Ryan Giggs, 90 points this season. Very good again. 11 points clear of Chelsea, who won it last year. So very decent for Manchester United. Just 4 losses this season round. Dybala grabbing top goal scorer again. Very, very impressed with him so far. Competition-wise, how did they do? Well, the media predicted second. Had a up and down season, mainly stayed in the top 3. Consolidated their place towards the last quarter of the season. Other 2 competitions didn't do very well at all. 5th round of the FA Cup. They got knocked out by West Ham. Chelsea won that. 3rd round of the Capital One Cup by Chelsea. City won that as well. Transfer history. Brought in 81 million worth of players. Brought in 56 this season. Toplar from PSV came in for 850k. Andre Silva from Benfica for 8.75. Cole Hoffman from Feyenoord for 1.4. David Felix from AS Roma for 25 million. Basilo Rocha from Atletico Madrid for 28 million. Olivier Baron from Lyon for 2.9. And Borasha from Dnipro for 14.75. They brought in quite a bit of money this season. Who's gone? Kuki left after just a season. He's gone to Dortmund. Ryan Campbell to West Brom. Che Nunnally to Burnley. Zay Sarau, he wasn't there long. He's gone to Chelsea. Nikolai Larson again wasn't there long. He's gone to Spurs. And Callum Gribbian went to Swansea. Chris Smalling to Burnley. Schedule-wise, Champions League. Final again. Smashed by PSG again. Wow, it was at Old Trafford this time as well. Incredible. Now you'd think it was at Stade de France last season. PSG might have gone and grabbed a win because they were on home turf. Manchester United are at their home ground and they got smashed 4-0. How embarrassing is that? Kennedy grabbing 2. Lucas Moura with the 1 and Babacar with the other one. Incredible. Beat Bayern as well in the semi-final. Beat Barca. Beat Juventus. United definitely deserved to be there. Had Barca in their group again. That is incredible. Beat Barca. Oh, they didn't beat Barca in the group actually. They managed to beat him in the quarter-final of the group leg, which is good. But incredible really. Other competitions, how well did they do? Community Shield, they weren't in this year. Capital One Cup, lost to Chelsea. Obviously, FA Cup, beat Peterborough and Bristol City, but lost to West Ham. In the league, very decent again. And again, from January, they only lost 1 in the whole of the new year, which isn't bad at all. Player-wise, the most appearances this season was David De Gea. Most average rated, Mark Flynn. He only started 5 games, but 8.4. He seems like he could be a good player. Now, was that a long-term injury for him? Is that why he was out? No, he only sprained ankle, but he looks like a really decent youngster for England. Other than that, the most regular player was Dybala, of course. He was top goal scorer, another 34 goals. Yarmolenko and Dybala with the most player of the matches. Now, is he in the is he classed as a legend yet, Dybala, or an icon? Because the amount of goals he's scoring, he's got to be up there. Yeah, he is. He's classed as a legend at the club, along with Rooney's not on there. Mata, Yarmolenko, Depay, Dybala, and Luke Shaw. You got Fergie as well on there. Is he managing? No, he's retired, of course. Incredible, really. So we're gonna skip on now. Only 2 years left. See how we can do now in his final few years of this experiment. So now into one of the final years of Giggs in charge of Manchester United. I'm sure he has done a good job this season. Is he going to be there? Has he won the league? No. Man City have, the noisy neighbours. Manchester United dropping down to 4th in the league. Incredible. Quite a way off. Well, 9 points off there, but quite comfortably ahead of Arsenal in 5th place. How's Giggs? Wow. Giggs is not the manager. It's Pep Guardiola the manager. Incredible. Now the key player is Isco, but that must have mean Giggsy has gone as manager. And that's click. And he was sacked in November. Now look at, for a start, let's look at that incredible record he had. He won almost 70% of the games he'd charge at United. He won on that. It's not 17 league wins because that's when he was from when he was a player as well. We'll have to count it from here. Is it FA Cup winners? I mean, he won quite a few trophies as a boss. We'll have to check that out. He was sacked. Brought in Nicky Butt as a caretaker for 2 weeks, and Pep Guardiola took the helm. He started pretty well. He's won the Europa League already, so we'll have to check that out. But Giggs sacked. Where's he now? Oh, he's at West Ham. It did take him long to find a new job. I mean, it says he's assistant manager here, but from when he was here, he had Roy Keane as his assistant. Now, what did he win? Okay, here we go. Now we can look. So at his time at Man U, he's won FA Cup, Community Shield in the same year, Barclays Premier League and Community Shield in 2019. 2020 he won the FA Cup, Barclays Premier League. 2021 he won the Community Shield and Barclays Premier League, and 2022 he won the League and Capital One Cup. So he did pretty well every year. I mean, for 5 years he won at least 2 trophies, which is pretty decent indeed. But he's now been sacked. Now I wonder why that is. 28th of November. Now remember that date, 28th of November. Check the stages. No, not stages. What am I doing? Past positions. That's what I wanted to see. Now 28th of November. Now Manchester United didn't start off that brightly, but not too bad. And it was here. Now they were 8th in the league, and I don't think that's that bad. I mean, in November, for him to be sacked after such a good, successful time at the club, it's surprising, but I'm sure Pep Guardiola will bring the good times, or keep the good times at Old Trafford at least. I'm a bit surprised that he has been sacked. Now, Pep Guardiola, how did he do, or Manchester United do? Finished fourth rather. Now they've got the Super Cup there. Of course they won the Europa League, sorry. Runner-up of the Community Shield, 3rd round of the FA Cup, lost to Preston North End. Capital One Cup, they lost to Everton. It was won by West Ham in the end, so not great. Transfer-wise, did Giggsy bring many in? Oh, he did. He brought in all of these players. Néstor Flores from Benfica, James Rodriguez, Isco, 2 of the players from Real Madrid, Martin Vincent from AC Milan, and Elroy van der Plas from PSV. Kuki came back from Dortmund, which is crazy, and Joe Irons from Rangers. Did he sell many? Yeah, Rene Adelaide left, Cox, Andre Silva, Baracha, a lot of these Pep Guardiola actually, Kurosawa, Pasalic, a lot of the players that they signed had left. Now, quickly check the Europa League. I mean, that was all of Pep Guardiola's work, really. Didn't do too bad in the Champions League, to be honest, but they drew way too many games. They only won 2, drew the rest, finished 3rd, obviously, but he did very well. Smashed a few teams along the way and beat Stoke in the final of the Capital One Cup. Europa League, rather. Player-wise, we'll have a quick look at that as well. Best average rating was Luke Shaw, closely followed by Dybala. Most man of the matches was Dybala. Most assists was Leon Goretzka, and top goal scorer, again, Paulo Dybala, who seems like an absolutely incredible player. He's 30 now. I mean, earning 325 grand a week. But he's been very, very impressive indeed. Now, I'll have a quick look, before we finish the video, at the United squad now, and see who's still there that United have in real life. Now, De Gea is 33, but he's still their main goalkeeper. Luke Shaw seems like he's their main left back, but he's only 28 still. Memphis Depay is 30, he's 15 mil worth, and that is it. Anyone in the under 21s maybe rotting away? I think that's actually it. Only a couple of players, so a lot of the players have left Manchester United, but I mean, we've gone forward 9 years. Unfortunately, Giggs is no longer in charge of United, but he had a very decent spell, winning good trophies along the way. And this experiment has been quite in depth, a bit longer than your normal experiment. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do leave feedback down below in the comments if you prefer the shorter ones, or you prefer me to go in depth. I mean, I'm open to discussion on that. Please do drop a like, obviously, if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the FM Scout YouTube channel for more experiments, more tips and tricks on Football Manager 2016. Make sure you go and follow us over on social media as well, which is at FM Scout. All the links to that are in the description. And make sure you guys, if you've got the time, to go and subscribe to my own personal channel, where I've got a couple of Let's Plays and more experiments going on over there more regularly. Please do drop a comment down below if you've enjoyed this video again, and I'll see you all next time, guys. See ya.